What up, guys? So today we're gonna try and upgrade the turbo on the RB20. Basically, I'm kind of overdue for a turbo. This one is kind of smoky, and I don't know, I can't tell if it really is turbo or not, but that's the first thing, and I kind of want an excuse to kind of upgrade anyways. So let me show you guys the turbo. Here's what we got. We have an RB25 45 V4 turbo. I'm gonna show you guys the differences with the stock one. And then I have just a T3 turbo gasket. It says over here it's for a Dodge truck, but I'm pretty sure that's right. I'll double check. First things first, we are gonna drain the oil just because it's overdue for an oil change anyways. So we're gonna drain the oil. I'm not entirely sure if you should or need to or not, but I figured there's coolant lines, oil lines going to it, so why not just, you know, drain the oil, do some maintenance, do plugs, get it running right again. So we're gonna try and take off the intercooler hose here that goes to the turbo little elbow pipe on this side, and then there should be 4 bolts securing the turbo intake pipe off. We're gonna get stuff out of the way so we can start seeing the turbo. Here we drain the coolant is drained. We got the pipe off here, the intake pipe's gone, and then we also took the heat shield off. Turbo is right there. We've got the ISR turbo elbow, so we take that off, and that should free up the turbo on this side. We've got a coolant line on the bottom, oil line here, and then here are the bolts for the turbo. Well, okay, so I'm missing a nut there. That's great. I think that's about it, and the whole turbo assembly should come out. That was an absolute freaking pain, dude. I can't tell you how much I freaking cursed this car out. It's not the car's fault. Obviously, I put a big ass engine in an engine bay that's not designed for it, plus the turbo elbow for the left hand drive, steering rack, all that, whatever. But let me show you guys what I was dealing with. So I have to unbolt the downpipe where it meets kind of like the cat, just so that I could have like wiggle room. I couldn't unbolt it there. I would suggest doing it that way so you could take out the turbo elbow on the turbo so that you could get to these bolts on the side and the bottom. I could not get to them, so I unbolted the turbo, unhooked all these things, scooted it left and right so I could kind of turn it, then turn it. It was such a pain, dude. I can't tell you how pissed off I was, but got it out. If I were you, just unbolt the turbo elbow. But let me show you guys the turbo. So this is the original RB20 16V whatever. You can tell because it says Nissan motor on the housing here. This is the RB25 45 V4 zero shaft play. Very good shape. Mine, it's not too bad either. There is a little more front and back. This one doesn't have as much. The only issue you're going to run into is the RB20 wastegate, internal wastegate has a little nipple fit in there, which you don't have here. You've got a spot for it, you just have to drill it out. So what I'm probably going to do is take the compressor housing off, drill it out, tap it to that size. Don't want to do that, but obviously you have to. Otherwise you're going to be not building any pressure, or you're going to have like too much pressure. But you can kind of tell side by side like the difference in compressor wheels for the most part. I mean, it's much smaller. Still ceramic, so you can only run like 12 pounds safely. Obviously running just a wastegate, no electronic boost control, it'll be running 10, which is safe anyways. But running the same amount of boost on a bigger turbo should make, I don't know, an extra 10, 20 horsepower, I feel like. So it's gonna feel good. Got these little bolts on the back. And take that out, we're gonna drill it out and go from there. It's got this little bit here. Here's the fitting. It's about the same size-ish. Don't want to go too big, so we're going to start drilling. Drill this out, and we're going to tap it. I may need to go a step bigger, but you do not want to go too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see which thread pitch this is, and then see if I can get away with going a little bit bigger and using the tap. I had to wait for the tap that I needed for the sides on the fitting. It's an M10 by 1.0. Nowhere had it in stock. I guess it's a very uncommon size. So for the M10 tap, you need an 11/32 drill bit. This whole kit was like $100 at Harbor Freight. But yeah, go nice and slow. I would use some like lubricant oil. I gotta show you guys, I kind of nicked the inside of the turbine housing because I went a little too deep. You just gotta be careful on that. I don't think it'll cause issues, but potentially, you know, there could be some turbulence. As you can see, I kind of screwed up there. Please be careful. Don't do what I did. Like I said, I don't think it'll cause too many issues, but potentially that is some turbulence. It's not a filing machine. area. I guess I'll find out when I put the turbo in there. But it should be good to go. All cleaned up, air cleaned through and through. Loose line tap is there. Orientation, I may have to move it. As far as I can tell from the old compressor housing, the wastegate goes straight onto here like that. So I think it goes like that. So I might have to turn it back. To take the wastegate off, you've got 2 bolts here. Those are off, and you've got a little C-clip. I'm worried about reusing that. I'm not sure if I can get it off, in which case I'll just go get a C-clip from somewhere. Otherwise, that's literally all that's holding on the wastegate. So we're just gonna swap that over to here and getting the housing onto here. We got water line there, you got an oil line, so you just need 2. These were like 7/16, I believe, or I believe M12. They were perfect size for that. And these were M18 or 11/16. And that's all you need washers wise. I highly encourage replacing them. Worst case scenario, reuse them, just make sure they don't leak. But if you can, I definitely would suggest that. Next thing is you need the little E-clip. And look really, really old. You do not want this to pop off, because that will ruin your day. All right, guys, hopefully you can hear me. It's like freaking pouring, dog, but don't forget the paper filter. I cleaned the surface off of the water side. Obviously the lines are kind of where they're at, so you're gonna sit the turbo in there. This water line is gonna be on the side, this one on this side, and then this is the oil feed line. You've got the downpipe here, the turbo elbow. That's gonna be the worst part. This is from ISR, the gasket for the turbo elbow. These are metal, so you can reuse them, no problem. Just make sure they're in good shape. And then this is from the kit I've got. This is not that greatest quality. Like this is nice and sturdy, this isn't, but it should work. Just don't forget to put the gasket in place there. And then all you have to do is just sit the turbo in there and get everything done. So it'll be a couple seconds for y'all, probably a couple good hours for me. So let's get to it. Geez, that was a pain, but I would definitely suggest getting the first water line on this side first, on the inside towards the block. Getting that on first, and then putting the turbo onto the housing, or sorry, the manifold. Tightening it down slightly, and then getting to this one and that one after that. That's kind of how I deducted it. Now the super annoying part, turbo elbow onto the freaking turbo itself. So that's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna try and do it from down there. Obviously, if you guys had a good downpipe, you can pretty much just leave the turbo elbow on, or put it on separately, then kind of slide it in and bolt it on that way. That'll be way easier. I don't want to risk having another exhaust leak, so I just decided to keep it there and deal with it. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it. We're gonna get it from underneath and see you in like a second, maybe another hour for me. All right, next day. Got kind of sort of bad news. This freaking turbo has probably worse turbo seals than the original. Go figure, man. Let me show you guys how smoky she can get. I found a leak yesterday, right where the turbo elbow is, on the bottom side. There's oil dripping out of it, so that's a good amount of oil. Obviously, I can't drive it too much like that, but let's see how she sounds doing. Oh, you see that? Yep. Hold on, let me see. It's hard to see, but it's definitely blue smoke. Oh, man. Look at that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's go and drive real quick. I'll show you guys, and we'll see what we're going to do. Actually, definitely a little bit faster than the 20 up top. Down low, there's nothing. I wish my tack was a lot more accurate, but basically it seems like it goes on right around 5,000 RPM, so a good 500 to 1,000 more RPM. Like regular driving, normally my RB20 turbo is a little bit louder too, so it definitely spools late as hell. Oh yeah, super laggy. But when she kicks, it feels good. Feels very good. Alright. Yeah, there's definitely like no power underneath 5. Woo, man. It feels good up top though, for sure. So my tack's off, like I said. It looks like it goes up to like 12,000 RPM, but it doesn't. I just need to adjust the tack gauge thing, but dang, kind of sucks that this turbo's blown, man. Not blown, but leaks. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Feels freaking good up top. Feels really good. Whenever you blow off, it sounds like there's multiple. You can tell that it's got multiple like blades. But the other one, you couldn't. It just sounded one smooth. This one's like very different. But yeah, let's do one more. Right now it's dead. Nothing. Oh man. So yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me. Basically this turbo's seals are leaking. The oil's coming out of the even the turbo housing, turbo elbow. That's what's really upsetting. So that's cool. Definitely don't want to be running it too long because of, you know, obvious reasons. Fire. Does feel faster, but it's not mind-blowing. Like, it's like, okay, there's something there, but it's not like, oh wow, like this is fucking nice. Like, it feels good and it's great. You know, like if your turbo's bad and you found one for cheap that you think is good and it's good to go, hell yeah. If not, I would just skip over and just save yourself a little bit of a headache. But yeah, either way, everything else seems good. Oil pressure is staying pretty consistent. I gotta look through, see my air fuels are looking at, but I did up the fuel pressure a little bit just to compensate. First impressions driving it, there's a good bit more like, oh, okay, up top. Like, okay, you can notice a little bit of power gain, but underneath that boost table, nothing. It's slow. So definitely keep that in mind. It's gonna be laggier. Once it hits though, it feels good. Was it worth it? For me, no, because obviously all that work to realize that my turbo seals are blown on that turbo as well. So that's not exciting. But then again, you know, I kind of took a chance. I bought it for 150 bucks. You know, it is what it is. So RB25 turbo upgrade, fun. My turbo, not so fun. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Take care.